Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we are headed racing from WWT Raceway, or known as Gateway, fresh off of, well, a wild Coca-Cola 600 and a wild crash where we saw Ryan Blaney in a violent accident, and unfortunately for Ryan Blaney, he will be missing several races ahead as it was confirmed he has concussion-like symptoms after that accident. So it's going to be races split between Zane Smith as well as Cole Custer in the number 12 for the duration of Blaney's injury. From the sounds of it, he could be missing anywhere between 5 to 10 races currently, so a pretty lengthy one for what it was a pretty violent accident, of course, in Charlotte, so it's not really surprising. But yeah, we hope for a speedy recovery there for Ryan Blaney. He is out. Obviously, his playoff chances probably over unless he is able to pick up a victory when he returns, if he does return before the end of the regular season, that is. Now, that 12 car wins, I guess it would get in the playoffs, and there's not really a whole lot we could do about it, so it'd be a bit awkward, and Blaney would end up having a chance maybe. But nonetheless, practice here in Gateway, pretty good. Now, usually Gateway is a track that I can really get the car to fire off in the short run, but I find myself struggling a lot in the long run when it comes to this track. But we beat the goal every lap of practice, so that was making me pretty confident coming into qualifying, as we have the normal top golf colors back on the car as we head down towards turn 1 in our qualifying attempt, a goal of a 33.0. And can we actually beat that? I think we can, based off of, you know, what we saw in practice. It was an okay 1 and 2, and on the run down towards turn 3, not quite aggressive enough there. Tapped the inside like curbing. That shot me up the track a little bit, so it screwed up the entry and the middle of the corner. A decent exit, though, is going to land us ahead of the goal time, not by a whole lot, about half a second, but that will put us up in the top 10. P6 here for the Illinois, or Enjoy Illinois 300 here, as we are going to be pretty happy with that to be on road number 3. Byron on pole, our teammate of Hemrick. P5, Ryan Truex, P10. That'll be his last race in the 44 LMC car for a little while, but he has done nothing but impress. Now, Allmendinger outside of the top 20, as you see at the bottom of the grid, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. We had Truck Series and Xfinity Series this weekend as well. I didn't do any of them, but we will be doing Xfinity next episode. But Truck Series, Shane Van Gisbergen picked up his first win in the Truck Series. It took him longer to win in the lower series than it did in the top series both times. Of course, 2 Cup wins already under his belt before he's even a full-time driver. Xfinity side of things, Chandler Smith, a part of our colleague program, was able to pick up the victory. So nice to see there as he gets his first win of his Xfinity Series career. Let's get ready to go Cup racing on Sunday.
We're here in St. Louis from Gateway. It's shaped like a small Darlington, but races totally different. Chase Elliott comes into tonight with 5 wins. Absolutely dominant season so far from the 2020 Cup champion.
I think that boy took missing the Final Four last year personally. He had a strong 2023, but he's already done better in the win column this year.
At the end of the day, he can win 35 races and still lose the title. But these wins are certainly helping him pick up enough points to already be a secured Final Four spot.
We're ready to roll here from Gateway under the lights again. 3 night races at least in a row here, which is awesome. But we have had a very solid stretch of races. We didn't get the finish we deserved in Darlington after running in the top 3. We had a late charge in Charlotte, just not enough time to make a difference. And Chase Elliott picked up his 5th win of the season last episode in that Coca-Cola 600. I think we had the fastest car at the very end of that race. What can we do in Gateway? Justin Haley crashed during qualifying. We've had a bit of a history this season of just not getting the finishing results we deserve at times. We still have 1 win under our belt this season, of course, from Martinsville, where we did put everything together and was able to manage traffic at the end of that race to perfection, as the green flag is out and we're underway from Gateway. William Byron out in front over Martin Truex Jr. Those 2 drivers yet to win. Same for row number 2. It's the 45 of Reddick on the outside. He has not won this season, but on the inside of him, Chris Buescher, 2 wins on the season, most recently at Darlington. On the exit of turn 2, down this back straightaway, side by side with my teammate of Hemrick, who immediately appears to be slow, so I don't think we're going to see him up here long. He put up a great qualifying effort, but I don't think he's going to put in a very good race effort there, as everybody already migrating to the inside. Stage 1, very short, only 10 laps of racing. This is a pretty short race in general, one of the shortest races we will see, actually, in the career mode season. And that 45 of Tyler Reddick, the Beast Monster Energy car, might be my favorite paint scheme in the career mode right now. that Tyler Tinsley, he was able to whip that up. It looks so good. Absolutely love that car. One of my favorites of the season, but not my favorite. I'm obviously biased towards the Raptor cars. I just love those that Byron's driven for 2022, 2023 as well. Up front, Byron still leads. Only one Hendrick driver has won this season. That's Elliott, and it's been 5 wins. He's been unbelievable, including last episode. If I get a chance to dump Chase Elliott for a win this season, I'm absolutely taking it. He's won enough. But Truex is going to take the lead from Byron. I'm looking up the inside now of the 17 Subway machine down into turn 1. Look at my rear view mirror. Here comes Ty Gibbs, one of the playoff bubble drivers right now. Gibbs has had speed, but he hasn't quite had the finishes to show, and he's also had a few issues here and there, specifically tire issues that have, of course, given up 30 points or so, which is going to make a big difference when we head to the end of this regular season as well. By the way, sounds like NASCAR, an announcement coming next episode, so stay tuned from that. Going into Sonoma is actually tagged the wall on the exit of 4 there with 6 to go on the stage, and that brings Gibbs to my outside, Larson to my rear bumper through the center of 1 and 2, and Larson running that Wawa machine now as I'm able to cover off both of these guys, but Larson was starting to put on some pressure. It's hard to believe, Larson, the regular season championship leader currently, has not gone to victory lane, but here he goes up my inside as I overshot turn 1 by a mile, and here he goes for the position on the exit of the corner. We're going to drag race down this back straightaway as I hit the wall on a straightaway, but Truex out in front starting to pull away from that Exalta machine of William Byron. Larson through into 3rd place. We drift down into 4th. The car was starting to free up a little bit as well as this run was going on, so that was a bit concerning for me because stage 2 is over double the length of what stage 1 is going to be. We only have 4 laps to go here in stage 1, and we're only 7 laps in, so just getting a very small sample size of the car's capabilities as this race goes on. We continue, though, to run about P4 in these closing laps of the stage. A nice gap over the cars behind right now, and you can certainly see it right there, though. The cars are slipping and sliding on the exit of the corners, and that's allowing everybody in front of us to just stretch out the gap as we come through to the final lap of stage 1. And Larson has run down the 24. Byron just fading backwards here. Actually, we're even closing in on him just a tad bit. But Martin Truex Jr., of course, been in position to win races this season, hasn't been able to capitalize on it. Of course, his final season of NASCAR Cup Series action. He is retiring at the end of season 2. Could he get that first win tonight in Gateway? We'll have to wait and see. Martin Truex Jr., though, exits turn 4. He's going to win stage number 1, the car that we are eyeing up as a potential ride for next season, but we have yet to talk to Joe Gibbs any further, but we will be having a meeting with him in the coming episodes as well. That's something you guys are going to have to listen in on. But Gibbs there, P5 over Busher, who's dropped to 6. Bell, Reddick, LaJoy, and Austin Cindric there, the top 10. As we're going to come into the pits, actually loosening up the car a little bit. I know that comes as a surprise, but it felt a little bit tight in the center of the corner, and that's kind of what I was trying to counteract on, because I felt like the looseness of the car was pretty manageable, although we only had, 10 laps to really get a feel for it. So this could be a direction that we might regret going with the car. We gain 1 spot in the pits over Larson, who drops down to 4th place. Truex Byron still the front row, just swapped around positions now as Byron on the outside. We're back underway for stage number 2, 21 laps of racing this time around, so 11 extra laps of racing. Into turn 1, Ty Gibbs following me here. Toyota looking pretty good tonight under the lights, at least with 2 of their drivers, with Truex and Gibbs. Now Hamlin as well outside of the top 10, not having a good day, and it doesn't look like the Legacy Motor Club is having a good day either. Ryan Truex in the part-time car for that team, as well as the full-time drivers of Eric Jones and John Hunter Nemechek, not really showing up. But we have seen this season Legacy Motor Club is extremely hit or miss. I mean, one weekend they are right up there in the top 10, and then one weekend they're not. I mean, last episode we saw John Hunter Nemechek actually get a top 10 result, and that was on pace, that was not on luck. So they very much so have hit or miss weekends. But we settle into P2. Byron's fading backwards there. Bell's up into the mix as well. Even Corey LaJoy up here in the mix in the top 10. And Gibbs right now P3. What can Ty Gibbs do here tonight, looking for that first win of the season and first career win, as he's trying to get his first win in the same season that we are able to get ours as well. I'd be shocked if he doesn't win this season in the career mode. He's been too strong to not pick up a victory, in my opinion. We have only seen Toyota, halfway through this regular season, win one race, and that's with Denny Hamlin at the Richmond race there a few episodes ago. So it's quite surprising to see how much they almost are struggling so far, but yet they've been running so well. And I mean, today's an example of that, but we have run down Martin Truex Jr., and we have an opportunity starting lap 5 of the stage to take the lead as we dive down into turn number 1 up the inside of that Bass Pro Shops machine. Can we take the lead of this race here in Gateway? No, Truex is able to get the grip hooked up and get the power down, and he stays ahead. So we settle in still to B2, and we continue to just kind of, observe that rear view mirror, see what Gibbs is capable of. Can he close in on me as he's just kind of lurking in the background? But he would close in lap 6, and you can see Truex now opening up the gap a little bit, about 4 to 5 car lengths between himself and I. And behind us, it's now 2 Toyotas, and it's 2 teammates of Gibbs as well as Christopher Bell. So yeah, Joe Gibbs is starting to show up with everybody except for Denny Hamlin, of course, tonight as we come to 14 to go in the stage. We can make it to the end of the stage and even probably stage 3 without actually having to make a green flag pit stop, just with how much shorter this race is than other races usually are. But you can start to see as we close in towards lap 10, about the same point as it was happening in stage 1, my car is starting to slip and slide around a little bit, but I'm very quickly realizing I think we went the wrong direction on the adjustments, because we're chasing this thing all over the place into the outside wall on the exit of 4. Gibbs is going to go through on the outside, and now actually Bell has fallen back another position, because here comes Brad Keselowski. The pair of Subway machines have shown up tonight. Buescher has fallen. Keselowski, though, has risen. He's driven outside of the top 10 into the now top 3 as we head down this backstretch. We're going to continue to try and fight with Keselowski, another driver looking for that first win. We're the only one in the top 5 right now with a win this season, so looking very much so like we're going to see a new winner here tonight instead of Chase Elliott, who's been non-existent tonight, which is a nice change of scenery. There's been a couple races where he's been non-existent this season, but I was struggling really hard as these laps go on. Look at the car just slipping and sliding everywhere now, and that's going to open the door for Christopher Bell here momentarily to get an opportunity to pass me as well as we come through out of turn 4. Look at that. I can't do anything. It's just sliding all over the place.
I see how loose it is. Just stick with me. We're going to get this fixed for you.
You hear the brief radio. I didn't need to see or say anything, sorry. The crew chief knows the situation. Hopefully going to get it fixed here at either a caution or the stage end now, as we got problems. That's Ty Gibbs after losing second place. That's an engine issue. Smoke pouring out of the back for the Joe Gibbs driver, and that's going to be another mechanical issue for the 54 this season. It has not been a kind season to Gibbs when it comes to that, and it's stuff like that that will, destroy your playoff chances. No caution comes out, and Ty Gibbs' race was not over. He would actually return to the action a couple laps later and get back on the track, so he would lose 2 laps. But that's it. He would get back on track, but still, the damage is done, and look at me. I'm just slipping and sliding everywhere. And there goes the 20. The 5 of Larson as well, back up into 4th. I cannot drive this car at all. It was so bad here with 6 laps to go in stage 2. Just trying to calm it down a little bit, trying to bring it home and get to the caution that's coming. Now, Larson on lap 16, he's going to pass at 20, move himself back up into 3rd as it's Truex, Keselowski, Larson, Bell, myself, the top 5, but I'm starting to wonder if we'll even hold on to the top 5. 2 laps to go on the stage, and it is just insufferable. As you can see, the cars behind us really closing in on us. The right rear tire down to 14%. Final lap underway in stage 1. Here comes Ty Gibbs. I'm actually going to stay out of his way and just let him go. He is so much faster. But it's Bubba Wallace who's up to P6, finally having a good run, and I mean, it's so bad. I mean, what am I supposed to do there? The car is unbelievably hard to drive at this point. There goes Bubba. Here comes the 17 of Chris Buescher, passing us for P6 down into turn 3 on the final lap of the stage. We're going to give a big punt to the back of the 17, and he's going to go sliding. Truex wins the stage, but the caution's going to come out early as the 17 goes through a slide in the grass, and that was a very silly moment from myself. Please apologize to him. I just drove into the corner way too hard. That was so stupid. I had no intentions of even hitting him there. I just drove in way too deep out of probably really just frustration and obviously screwed up and wrecked the poor guy. So, yeah, don't want to do that. We're making big adjustments there, mainly on the wedge specifically, because we still need to be aware that the car doesn't want to rotate in the center of the corner. So we're dealing with multiple challenges of this car. We lose 2 positions there in the pits. We'll restart alongside the 17. Truex has swept the first 2 stages. We're back underway. We're on the outside of the 17 of Busher. If we get a chance as this stage goes on to maybe repay him, let him go past us, you know, make it easy on him, we're going to take that opportunity. But he's 3 wide in the middle right now. Austin Cindric just sailed it off in there. And we're going to follow this 24 of William Byron out of turn 2 down this back straightaway here. McDowell going 3 wide with us briefly. A shot to the back of the 24. Now I'll dive to the inside into turn number 3. We're 3 wide with Byron and Bell, who's up the track. Here comes McDowell, who's going to drive into my door. We're 4 wide in the middle. McDowell gets a 3-for-1 special, and we force the 24 out of the way. Not what I wanted to do there. A lot of contact, as you would expect from 4 wide at a track like Gateway, of course. So P7 at the end of this first and opening lap. Truex out in front. Bubba Wallace up to second place. Your Atlanta winner has had a miserable season since his Atlanta win, but now he's showing up. Drag racing down the back straightaway with the 34, trying to get clear into turn number 3 as I'm going to try and dive down in front of this 34, but he sticks his nose up in there anyways, and we turn across his nose, and more contact there. We're turning into a bit of a Richmond repeat from last year where I just went stupidity mode, and right there I just tried to clear the 34 when I wasn't, and thankfully he saves it and we keep on going. So it's okay at this point. Calm down. You're driving like a moron. We need to clean this up before NASCAR's not happy with it now. So we focus in and just try to drive back forwards here. And now up the inside of Austin Cindric, who's having a very solid night here now. But Truex still leads over Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski. We're back into the top 5. We have a lot of speed on the short run in this car, and we were proving that because we just continue to close in on all of these cars in front of us. Right now, in this exact moment, we are the quickest car on track. Very simple. But the long run, that's the question. What kind of pace will we have this time around? We've worked on tightening up the car a little bit. Stage 1, Stage 2, I mean, all have been extremely clean. There has been no cautions outside of me cutting across or bumping the 17, and wrecking him on the very final lap of the stage. And here we are in Stage 3, and with 17 to go already, things are looking clean again. We have run down Larson and Bubba Wallace. Larson's going to go through to take second from that DoorDash number 23, who fades down into the 3rd spot. Now, can we put some pressure? Yes, because the 5 jumps in front of him, and that slows him up a little bit. We look up the inside. Only 16 laps to go here in Gateway at this point under the lights. Been some decent racing here tonight in Gateway. Usually not the greatest track, though, on the Cup Series calendar, in my opinion. Last season, it was Kyle Busch who was able to pick up the victory here. A completely different vibe for him and Richard Childress Racing this season. They have been so far off. Kyle Busch, of course, really not having the, wind down of the career that you would expect from him, as I think it's going to be a winless season, maybe for the first time ever, for that number 8 of Kyle Busch now. But into turn 1, a little bit deep there, but we get it slowed down enough with 15 to go. But now we were starting to hit the point again where the car's starting to slide around, so even with the adjustments we made there, it's just not working up the track. Keselowski is going to go take the position now, so we go to P4 with 14 to go as Truex continues to just try and hang on over Larson. Now lap traffic could play a role if it goes green to the end, and I think it is, and that's a problem for me because if you remember at the end of Stage 2, my right rear tire was really worn, and we have a few more laps in Stage number 3 than we did in Stage number 2, so I had a bit of a concern there as I just hit the wall down a straightaway. But we continue to run in P4 as we close in on the final 10 laps of the stage, or of the whole race in general, and in Stage 2 as well. It was the final 10 or so laps where we really fell off a cliff. We had the, almost like you could say it was flirting with us, that the tires are fading away, and you can see now as we come to 10 to go in this race, Keselowski's up to second, passing Larson, but yeah, we're struggling now, and here comes Bubba Wallace, who I think is going to want to take that 4th position here momentarily. 46% on the right rear tire. How long can we hang on? Here we go. We are just sliding all over up the track again. Bubba Wallace loves what he sees. Up the inside, he's going to get the position. We're not really going to be able to fight. That's the problem now. The tires are so bad and the grip is so bad for this number 16 machine that once he is able to get to us, we really can't fight, as I nearly slide into his right rear and hook him head on into the wall anyways. So 42%, but it was continuing to dramatically fall on that right rear. That's just specific tire that I was watching. Now down to 35% with 8 laps, 7.5 laps to go. It's looking very realistic that it's going to stay green all stage long, which you don't get to say often, and unfortunately the race is too short and the stages were for green flag pit stops. That would have been very helpful for me, specifically, in this kind of scenario. But I'm doing everything I can to stick with Bubba as we come to 5 laps to go in this race, and the concern is, of course, the right rear tire blowing out. 23% is what I was, 22% starting 5 laps left with. So it was not looking like I'm going to make it, because lap 56 down into 3, the tire icon, the warning light is on. Truex working through lap traffic. He's got a comfortable gap to the cars behind. He's hoping for no late race yellow, which has plagued him this season when he's been leading races in the closing laps. Now as we approach 3 laps to go, and at this point I am coming to a realization, this right rear, it's probably not going to make it. It looks like at 12%, it's probably going to blow on the last lap of this race, but I would rather do that, blow it on the last lap and just try to, bring it home to the finish than pit and give up a lap, and we might be able to get something better out of it. 10%, 9% on the right rear at this point. 2 laps to go, and you can see it just continues to drain down to not P7, but 7%, as we were surprisingly still inside this top 5 with 2 laps to go in this race, dealing with lap traffic. There's Eric Almirola in the number 21 right there on his back bumper as we exit the corner. 5% on the right rear. It's not going to happen. This tire is going to blow. McDowell is in P6 behind us. A great run for him, the road course ringer who's looking forward to the next few races. We have 3 road courses, I think, in the next 4, but Truex sees the white flag. Finally is his bad luck over. 2% on the right rear. Our bad luck's about to get maybe a bit higher, because I don't think we're going to even make it through turn 1 and 2. White flag is in the air. Truex doesn't care if we bring out a caution. 1%. I immediately jump up to the outside because I know that tire is going to blow, and if we stay up higher towards the wall, we can at least limp it back around, and it's down to 0. There it goes. The right rear blows down the back straightaway. McDowell goes through, and now it's just about, can we get this back around the track without crashing the car, as I am desperately trying to hit the gas and not crash at the same time, just limping it around, but into the corner slides right in front of the path of the 45 of Tyler Reddick, who's going to push us through the corner. Shades of Larson pushing Chastain and Darlington, and he comes to a stop. Truex has won the race, and we have absolutely thrown everything away. The tire blows with half a lap to go, and again, it's going to be a finish that doesn't really, tell you the story of where we ran as we exit turn number 4, and this car is just hanging on for dear life, and it's going to go again, and we crash into the inside wall, and we just try to bring it home at this point. Embarrassing. It's going to be a finish of outside the top 30 instead. I cannot believe we just, threw that. Again, that's not the first time this season something's gone wrong like that, but it is our first tire failure in quite some time. Truex wins in Gateway, and my goodness, the frustration that comes with that. Zane Smith 29th in the 12, really not the debut in that car that he would be looking for. Gibbs in last there, 2 laps down after the mechanical issues early. But wow, another throw. Next episode, we do have road course at Sonoma. I'm excited for that. Here's the Xfinity Series standings. I will be doing the Xfinity race there at Sonoma as well. I try to do the races when they line up with the Cup Series schedule. And here's the Cup Series grid. Now that Truex has got the win, he's into the top 5 in the playoffs now. And still, you can count out Ryan Vargas, hopefully, if everything gets sorted by the end of the regular season, which means Gibbs would actually be the last driver in the playoffs. We have a road course swing on the way. 3 of the next 4 are road courses with Chicagoland in the middle of it all. I'll see you guys next time from Sonoma. Have a great day.